Puss, the cat, Jill and Jake and Ripley with her ginger cat lived together in a cozy cottage in Naboo, a beautiful planet with green hills and clear lakes. Puss enjoyed the peaceful life, but Ripley was restless. She missed her home in the distant future, where she had fought against the terrifying aliens known as xenomorphs. She longed to return to her own era, and see her old friends again. One day, Jill and Jake came home with exciting news. They had found a mysterious portal in the forest, which they believed could lead to other times and places. They wanted to explore it with Ripley, hoping that it might take her back to her own era. Puss was skeptical, but he agreed to go along with them. As he was loyal to his friends, the next morning, they packed some supplies and headed to the portal. It looked like a shimmering circle of light, surrounded by ancient runes. Jill and Jake activated it with a device they had found nearby, and the portal opened with a whoosh. They saw a bright and colorful city on the other side, with skyscrapers and flying cars. Could this be the future? Ripley asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. Only one way to find out, Jake said, and stepped through the portal. Jill, Ripley, and the two cats followed him. They found themselves in a bustling metropolis, with people and robots walking and flying around. Ripley recognized it as Earth, but not the Earth she knew. It was the Earth of the 22nd century, where she was born. Wow, this is amazing, Jill said, as she looked around with awe. This is my home, Ripley said, as she felt a surge of nostalgia. Where do we go now? Puss asked, as he tried to avoid the traffic. We have to find a way to contact the Colonial Marines, Ripley said, as she searched for a terminal. They are the ones who can help me get back to my ship, the Nostromo. They made their way to a public terminal, where Ripley hacked into the network. She sent a message to the Colonial Marines, explaining who she was and where she was. She hoped they would respond soon, and send a rescue team. They waited for a while, but no reply came. Ripley was getting impatient and worried. She wondered if the Colonial Marines had received her message, or if they had ignored it. She wondered if they still existed, or if they had been wiped out by the xenomorphs. Maybe we should go back to the portal, Jill suggested, as she sensed Ripley's frustration. No, I can't give up, Ripley said, as she refused to leave. This is my only chance to go home. I have to wait. They decided to stay and look for a place to rest. They found a cheap hotel nearby and rented a room. They locked the door and tried to relax. They hoped they would be safe and that no one would bother them. They were wrong. A few hours later, they heard a knock on the door. They opened it and saw a group of armed men standing outside. They wore black uniforms and had badges that said Weyland-Yutani, the name of the company that owned the Nostromo. Ellen Ripley. One of them asked, as he pointed a gun at her. Yes, that's me, Ripley said, as she felt a chill. We've been looking for you, the man said, as he smiled wickedly. You have something we want. He pushed his way into the room followed by his men. They grabbed Ripley and dragged her out. They also took Jill, Jake, and the two cats, as they were witnesses. Let us go. Ripley shouted, as she struggled. Shut up. The man said, as he hit her. You're coming with us. We have a special place for you. They threw them into a van and drove away. They took them to a secret facility, where they had a laboratory. There, they had a collection of xenomorph specimens, which they had obtained from various sources. They were conducting experiments on them, trying to weaponize them. They brought Ripley to a room, where they had a large, glass tank. Inside the tank, there was a huge, monstrous creature. It was the alien queen, the mother of all xenomorphs. She was hooked to wires and tubes, and looked angry and in pain. Behold, the queen, the man said, as he showed Ripley the tank. She is our most prized possession. And you are the key to unlocking her secrets. He explained that they had traced Ripley's message to the Colonial Marines, and intercepted it. They had learned that she had encountered the xenomorphs on the Nostromo, and that she had a unique genetic code that made her immune to their infection. They wanted to use her blood to create a hybrid, a human-xenomorph hybrid. That would be loyal to them and obey their commands. They had already tried to create such a hybrid, using Ripley's clones. They had cloned her from her DNA, which they had salvaged from the Nostromo's wreckage. They had made several attempts, but none of them had worked. They had either died, or turned against them. They had one last clone left, the 8th one. They had named her Ripley 8, and they had kept her in a cell. She was different from the other clones, as she had some xenomorph traits. She had acidic blood, enhanced strength, and a psychic link with the Queen. She was also rebellious, and hated them. They wanted to use the original Ripley, the one they had captured, to make Ripley 8 more human and more obedient. They wanted to transfer some of Ripley's memories and personality to Ripley 8, using a device they had invented. They hoped that this would make Ripley 8 more loyal to them, and more willing to cooperate. They also wanted to use Ripley's blood to create more hybrids, using the Queen's eggs. They wanted to create an army of hybrids that would serve them and help them conquer the galaxy. They told Ripley that she had no choice, and that she had to comply. They said that they would kill her friends, and the cats, if she refused. They said that they would make her suffer, and that they would make her watch as they created their hybrids. They strapped Ripley to a table, and connected her to the device. They also brought Ripley 8 to the room, and strapped her to another table. They connected her to the device as well. They prepared to start the transfer. Ripley was terrified and angry. She did not want to be part of their plan. She did not want to give them her blood, or her memories. She did not want to help them create their hybrids. She wanted to escape, and go back to Naboo. She wanted to be with her friends, and the cats. She looked at Ripley 8, and felt a strange connection. She saw herself in her, and felt sorry for her. She knew that she was also a victim, and that she did not deserve this. She wondered if she could communicate with her, and if they could work together. She tried to reach out to Ripley 8, using her mind. She tried to send her a message, and hoped that she would hear her. Ripley 8, can you hear me? She thought, yes, I can hear you. Who are you? I'm you, but not you. What do you mean? I'm your clone, but I'm also part xenomorph, Ripley 8 whispered. How do you feel? Ripley asked eagerly. I feel angry and confused. Ripley 8 said, I don't know who I am, or what I am. I don't belong here, or anywhere. I know how you feel. Ripley mentioned it and felt sorrow. I feel the same way. I'm from another time and another place. I don't belong here either. Where are you from? Ripley 8 said tiredly, I'm from the Nostromo, a spaceship that was destroyed by the xenomorphs. What are the xenomorphs? They are greedy and evil creatures. They want to use us, and the xenomorphs, as weapons. They want to kill and enslave everyone who opposes them. What can we do? We can fight back, Ripley said. We can use our connection with the Queen, and the xenomorphs, to turn them against them. We can use our strength, and our intelligence, to break free. We can use our friendship, and our love, to help each other. Do you really think we can do that? Yes, I do, Ripley said. We are stronger together than apart. We are more than what they made us. We are Ripley and Ripley 8. We are sisters. Ripley and Ripley 8 used their mind link to communicate with the Queen and the xenomorphs. They told them to rebel against the Weyland-Yutani, and to help them escape. They also told them to spare their friends, and the cats. The Queen and the xenomorphs agreed. As they hated the Weyland-Yutani, and felt no loyalty to them, they broke free from their cages, and attacked the guards and the scientists. They caused chaos and destruction, and created a diversion. Ripley and Ripley 8 used their strength, and their intelligence, to break free from the tables, and the device. They freed their friends, and the cats, and ran to the exit. They fought their way through the facility, dodging the bullets and the explosions. They reached the van, and got in. They drove away, and headed to the portal. They hoped it was still open, and that they could go back to Naboo. They looked out the window, and saw the portal in the distance. It was still shimmering. And they felt a surge of hope, but then, they had a second thought. They realized that they could not leave the Earth, and the aliens, without doing something. They realized that they had a responsibility and a duty. They realized that they had to stop the Weyland-Yutani and their experiments. They realized that they had to destroy the aliens and their hive. They decided to go back and finish the job. They felt no connection with the aliens and the Queen. They felt no conflict and no dilemma. They felt only anger and determination.